Hello everyone and welcome to today's video blog from Fortuna Admissions. I'm Caroline Diarte Edwards, Director at Fortuna Admissions, and I was formerly Head of Admissions at INSEAD. I'm joined today by my colleague Nonie Mackie, who was a colleague of mine at INSEAD, and she coached MBAs and EMBA students on how to best achieve their career goals. So the topic we're talking about today is how candidates should craft their short-term and long-term goals for the purposes of their application. So both the written application and then of course the interviews when you'll need to discuss those goals. So Nonie, first of all, what are your thoughts about how broad or how narrow the career goals should be?
Okay, sure. Thanks, Caroline. So it's really important to think about your short and long career goals in the sense that your short-term career goals are those which are your stepping stones to eventually getting to your long-term career goals. So your long-term career goals are you'll aim for 10 plus years post-MBA, and your short-term career goals are those which are anything from internship to 2 to 3 years post-MBA. In my experience and my thoughts on short and long-term career goals, it's important to think about your short-term career goals in quite a targeted fashion. So you want to be very specific when you're thinking about what you want to do post-MBA. So it's very, very important to have done very thorough research, to gone out and look at the companies, the sectors, the functional areas, the geographies, the specific requirements which are perhaps needed within those different functional or sector areas. And then once you've done your research, it's important to really come up with your target list of companies so that you're able to really proactively start reaching out to people and building your network. In terms of your long-term career plans, these are important to think about in terms of what sort of impact do you want to have 10 years down the line. So these might be a lot broader. Maybe right now you're not exactly sure of the company or the area that you want to be working in 10 years time. But it's important to think about what kind of impact do you want to have, what legacy do you want to leave behind in your career. So these can be a lot broader. They don't necessarily need to be very detailed and specific. But obviously bear in mind when you're in an interview situation, you do need to be able to proactively talk about it and articulate some of your ideas and thoughts behind that. And they should link to your short-term career goals.
Great. Okay. And what about for a candidate who has quite a specific career goal? So something that may be seen as quite a niche position. Is that a red flag? Is that a risk? Could they be seen as a risky candidate to the admissions committee?
I don't think they should be seen as a risky candidate to the admissions committee. It's fine to have a niche career goal as long as you can well articulate that goal. So as long as you can show that you've done your research, you've reached out to people who've perhaps undertaken a similar career path. So that might be reaching out to people on LinkedIn. It could be alumni within the school that have undertaken a similar career path and really got their advice and their tips on how it can be achieved. So as long as it's achievable and realistic and you can show and clearly articulate your thinking behind how you're going to achieve that goal, then I don't see it as being a red flag.
Okay. And what are your thoughts about, how a candidate can demonstrate a specific short-term or long-term goal without bottlenecking the post-MBA employability? And I guess related to that, what are your thoughts about having Plan A and Plan B and communicating that?
Yeah, it's very, very important to have a Plan A and a Plan B. Obviously, our plans don't always go to plan, so it's important to show that you have been very sensible and realistic in your thinking and that you do have a backup plan. So absolutely, you should put as much effort into Plan B as you are putting into your Plan A. And in your Plan A, it needs to be targeted as well as your Plan B. It needs to be well thought out, well articulated. You need to research, and that you have a clear career vision, and that career vision links up with your own values and what it is you want to do. You may be in a job that you're very passionate about. You may be in a job that actually you don't really like. So it's important to really identify at this early stage what it is that you want to do, and what it is that you don't want to do, and make sure that that ties in with your plan. Plan B.
Great.
Also important to think about things like geography, and language ability. There's no point looking for a job in China if you don't speak Mandarin. So having that as your plan isn't realistic, particularly if it's for that's a local company, a local conglomerate. They will be looking for people who have a language ability. Also think about immigration and the laws surrounding that nowadays. If you're looking at the US or in certain parts of Europe, and you might be coming from Asia or outside of the geographies that are of key interest to you, and you don't have eligibility to work in those geographies, then perhaps it's not so realistic. So look at external factors as well as your own career passions and goals, making sure that they're all aligned.
Great. Before we close, Nonie, any final tips for candidates as they think through their career goals and figure out, how to communicate that in their applications?
I think networking is perhaps the most important factor at this early stage of MBA application and throughout your job search. I mean, network. You can't do enough of it. And networking, informational interviews, they all really help you to build a clearer vision, a clearer understanding about how you're going to achieve your career goals. So reach out to people. Media. LinkedIn is a great forum which you can connect with alumni at the school, or people in different sectors, functional expertise. Really become a subject matter expert, join different groups, put yourself out there. Sometimes it can be quite challenging, quite daunting, but it's absolutely worth doing, and it will certainly help you really articulate your career goals and show that you've done your research and that you're really passionate and committed to the career path that you want to follow. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for your thoughtful advice, Nonie, and thank you to our audience today. Please connect with us on our website, fortunaadmissions.com, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.